Welcome back, everyone. The time is now 6:10. An alarming report about the amounts of salt in certain foods.
Here are your top health stories.
Lifetime heavy drinkers face a much higher risk of colorectal and rectal cancer. A study published in the journal Cancer found that people who average 14 alcoholic drinks a week have a 25% higher chance of colorectal cancer and a 95% higher risk of rectal cancer. But researchers also found that quitting drinking can lower that risk. Cutting back on the salt could save thousands of lives. A study in France and the UK found if the food industry reduced the amount of salt in packaged and prepared foods, potentially more than 100,000 cases of heart disease and 25,000 strokes could be prevented through reduced blood pressure. The study's authors say even kidney disease and dementia rates could decrease. And it turns out caring for grandchildren is good for the brain. A study in the Netherlands found grandparents who helped watch their grandkids, played with them, or helped with their homework scored higher on tests of memory and verbal fluency than grandparents who didn't. More research is needed, but the study's authors say caregiving could help slow down cognitive decline. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
On camera, take a look at this. Over in Washington, crews rescued a woman from a slick slope after her sled crashed into a tree. It happened on Sunday during the severe winter storm. When crews arrived on the scene, they needed to use a rescue basket and ropes to pull the woman up the slope. She was taken to a medical facility with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, that is certainly a good end to that story, that non-life-threatening injuries. But
gotta be careful,
especially hopefully she's doing all
now.
right.
Yes,
Remember,
hopefully she is.
that ain't snow anymore. It's just it's glacial ice. It is a solid sheet of ice, and if you can put a sled on that, physics are going to take over, and that's not going to be in your favor. Just
gravity
throw
wins.
that out there. Gravity is going to
Gravity
win
is
every
never
time. So it's not it's sleddable, but you ain't stopping.
Right.
You can't control it.
Oh, me.
Let's go ahead and take a look out the window. We're going to look at downtown Jack. Hey, hi, Ice. Wow. Did you hear that? My goodness, Wolf Construction Company, the sponsor. That was a big old chunk of ice from the tower that just landed on the roof. Thankfully, it wasn't on top of me. But my goodness, that was loud. Here's a look at temperatures. As the rest of the day goes along, we're going to struggle to get to about 16, 17 at the warmest point of the afternoon. Winds will remain out of the northwest, and that's going to keep our wind chills into single digits pretty much all day. So you'll certainly want those layers as the day goes along. We'll have a look at your full forecast, I think, coming up next.
Well, stay with us because still ahead, this item is now on the recall list. We'll tell you what to know before you sit down.
Now, Storm Team weather with meteorologist Mo Shamel.
And well, it is a very cold start to our day expected. We've got to look at the weather alert summary, which of course, to summarize, it's cold, real cold, and it's going to stay that way through tomorrow. We're going to start to recover a little bit by the time we get to Wednesday, but an extreme cold warning remains in effect. It goes through noon tomorrow, and I do want to take this time to remind you, by the way, with all that ice accumulating on the trees and power lines, guess what? Gravity is still a thing. So that falling ice is going to be an issue. We heard a big old chunk of ice just hit the roof. We're okay here at the studio, but that's what kind of startled us all. Even my boss came in and he was even startled by that one. But I mean, it was loud. But that was a big old chunk of ice that fell from our tower. So we're going to have to be careful when we're walking across the parking lot for the rest of the day. So I just want to remind you, that can happen anywhere. The ice is coming off these trees and power lines, especially once we start the melting process and the sun gets out and starts to melt some of it. So just want you to be aware of that. Here's a look at your live look out the window. We're in downtown Henderson and Chester County Road looking really good. This is the main street. We can actually see the road here in Henderson at the moment, but still need to take it easy. There are going to be some slick spots as you head off to work for the folks that are going to work. I know there's several essential workers. You got to go to work this morning. I get it. I'm one of them. I have to be here. So, but you got to just take it easy. And it's easier to get around when there's less traffic, of course, but a lot of the schools are not in session, and there are going to be still a lot of places closed still today, but you got to be careful out there if you have to get out and about. Here's a look at our temperature trends. We are looking at our next 6 to 10 days. Below normal temperatures still favored in the eastern half of the country. Again, remember, this graphic doesn't tell us how cold. It just tells us whether we're going to be above or below normal. And right now, the favorability is below normal. What's normal? Well, that's a good thing you asked me that. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. First of all, 6 to 10 day outlook on the precipitation. Well, that doesn't look good. Well, I mean, we don't really want any more precipitation at this point, especially if it's going to be more wintry precipitation. But right now, we're looking to be on the drier side as we go into that first full week of February. What's normal? Again, I'm glad you asked. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Normal is 49 degrees. And for this week, at least, we're going to be way below 49 degrees. We'll get back to about freezing on Wednesday, especially. We'll be about the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees tomorrow. But we are going to be starting off very cold with temperatures. Probably that's a little too warm. I'm going to drop that down a little bit, probably closer to 9 degrees or 6 to 9 degrees tomorrow morning. Otherwise, again, we're going to be well below normal. We're going to be in the basement, basically, on our high temperatures as we go for the rest of the week here. Average low temperature is about 29. Our high temperature is going to be on the money on that tomorrow. So again, it is really cold here. Here's a look at what we've got right now. We've got 7 degrees in Ridgely, 9 in Dyersburg, 10 degrees Trenton, 9 degrees Union City, 11 degrees in Jackson, and 12 degrees in the city of Henderson there in Chester County. But the wind is going to hit you. And again, we're still dealing with a Siberian Arctic air mass, so it's going to bring that temperature down quick. In fact, these temperatures have been dropping since we started the show this morning as the winds start to pick up out of the northwest. It feels like -5 in Ridgely and Dyersburg, -3 Alamo, Trenton at -2. Here in Jackson, we're now at -2 as well. Again, criteria for an extreme cold warning is -10, and we're probably going towards that now that the sun is coming up. The eddies are going to get going, and again, that's going to be what drives us towards those that criteria as the day goes along. Here's a look at a Storm Tracker 7 Max radar, high pressure in control, cold front to the south and east away from us, and again, we are going to be in this thing for the next couple days here, and that's why we're under that extreme cold warning there. Here's how Futurecast plays it out. Has the clouds out of here. As we get through lunchtime, we'll be at these are still too warm, probably about 16 for the high temperature a little bit later today. Tonight, we'll be dropping down into the single digits again. Won't be as much wind tomorrow, but I think the actual temperature is going to be about 6-7 degrees to start us off tomorrow morning. And that alone will still be a very cold start to your day. So we're going to get over to the 7-day forecast to show you that there are no additional real precipitation chances. There is a clipper passing by between Wednesday and Thursday, and that's what's giving us that little bit of a bump in the temperature. So maybe an additional flurry, couple flurries, but otherwise no accumulating precipitation is anticipated for this entire week. This 7-day forecast is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
It's one of the best food buys in the market, pork tenderloin, and we've got a great way to prepare it.
And welcome back, everyone. The time is now 6:23. Moving over to our Consumer Watch, Academy Sports and Outdoors has issued a nationwide recall for more than 35,000 rocker chairs. The company reports the legs can break on a Magellan Odyssey rocker chairs, creating a fall and injury hazard. This recall affects chairs manufactured in July and August of 2025. If you own one of them, stop using it right away. You can return the chair to any Academy Sports and Outdoor store for a full refund, nor contact their customer service to return it by mail at no cost.
Also in our Consumer Watch, could even higher prices be on the horizon? Well, it could become a reality. President Trump is threatening 100% tariffs on Canadian imports. He says the tariffs would happen if Canada makes a trade deal with China. However, last week, President Trump said it would be good for Prime Minister Carney to get a deal with China. Right now, the White House has not said if any new tariffs would take effect.
And it is time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Kitchen staff. Today he's making a quick and tasty dinner recipe that you can throw together at the last minute.
That's right, it's called Really Easy Pork Scallopini.
I love when you ask us questions online. And the one I get asked the most is, where do you get all your recipes? Well, we develop them right here in the test kitchen. But the inspiration behind them often comes from you. As a matter of fact, today's dish started when a viewer was looking for a pork tenderloin recipe that was weeknight easy and also budget friendly. So here we go. We start by cutting a pork tenderloin into about 8 slices and placing each between a couple of sheets of plastic wrap. Now, using a meat mallet or a rolling pin, we flatten them so they're about a 1/4 inch thick. After seasoning with a bit of salt and pepper, we saute them in a bit of olive oil, butter, and garlic. Takes a couple of minutes per side. Once they're done, we set them aside, then deglaze the pan with a splash of lemon juice and a few capers. After that simmers a bit, it's ready to serve over our pork. It's one of those dishes that's so easy, yet so fancy schmancy, everyone will think it had to be a lot of work. But it's not. Let's keep that our little secret. The recipe for our really easy pork scallopini is online now, so you can make a company fancy meal any night of the week. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we discovered a fancy dancy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
If you want to see today's Mr. Food recipe and many others, just head over to our website, wbbjtv.com, and click on Mr. Food.
Moving over now to some entertainment news. If you love classic books, take a look at this. In July, Scholastic will publish the Babysitters Club Fan Edition Babysitter Summer. It's a first-of-its-kind book where the authors write from each character's point of view, and that's not all. In September, the authors are teaming up the Babysitters Club Super Special. It's a graphic novel version of the first special novel published in 1988. It's all part of their 40th anniversary celebration.
And a final look at your forecast is coming up in just a few. Another look at the forecast is coming up in a few minutes.
Here's what's coming up in the next half hour. The frigid temperatures are here to stay. We'll tell you how you can stay safe on the roads.
Plus, we have the latest on a fire in one local city. We'll tell you what officials say could be the cause.
And a cold weather, extreme cold warning remains in effect for all of West Tennessee through tomorrow. We'll have a look at the rest of the week's forecast that's coming up.
The near zero temperatures are here. We have important tips if you are on the road.
We take you to the scene of a fire in one city and the latest on the damage.
Plus, clearing your car of snow and ice can be tough. We have important tips to protect your vehicle.
Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News. Good morning, West Tennessee.
Good morning, West Tennessee. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ryan Hodges.
I'm Liana Whitelaw.
And we have meteorologist Mo Shamel with us. The time is 6:30. It is Monday, January 26th. So not too long ago, we're sitting here doing the show, and a huge piece of ice fell off our TV tower that we have right outside. Came all the way down, hit the roof, made a huge noise.
Yes, and that has been happening all throughout the weekend. I know yesterday we got some reports of some explosions going on. That is ice falling, trees falling, you guys.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's definitely something that, is important to remember as we move on over the next few days. This ice will start falling off and
I didn't
stuff.
realize,
Yes.
I guess I just kind of forgot how dry this area is. Very dry. I guess my eczema was kicking in. I didn't tell me I was all frosty under my nose. I was like, my goodness, I didn't realize how dry my skin had gotten, but I got some lotion on it, so we're in good shape now. But it is bone dry, and boy, your skin is going to be struggling today, just so you know. Here's a look at what's going on right now. We're going to start off in Chester County here. Sun is starting to come up, and a little bit of light there on the scene. The street looking pretty good there on Main Street of Chester County there in the city of Henderson. Again, we're going to take a look at your weather alert summary. Extreme cold warning will continue this morning through Tuesday at noon. Again, for another very cold start to your morning tomorrow. Storm Tracker 7 Max radar, mainly quiet. Clouds that we did have in place last night did slow temperatures a little bit. So they're not as cold as they're going to be probably tomorrow especially. But right now, we are starting to fall. We've got 7 degrees in Dyersburg and also in Ridgely right now, 7 degrees in Paris, Huntington at 9 degrees. We're at 11 degrees on that scan, but I can tell you here at the studio just outside it's at 8 degrees right now. And there is now a breeze out of the northwest. So that's creating a wind chill, which is going to fall a little faster than normal because we're dealing with a frigid Arctic air mass and it's very bone dry. So yes, the wind chills are right now between about -2 and -5. Not quite the criteria yet, but the winds will continue to pick up over the next hour or so. So if you're traveling, if you're going to be getting out and about around 7, it's going to be a different story than what it is right now. Here's a look at weather headlines today. They're brought to you by Precision Auto Body. We do expect plenty of sunshine now that the clouds have rolled out of here finally. We've got temperatures that'll be around freezing, which is actually quite warm compared to what we got going on, oddly enough, as we get to the middle of the week. We'll have more details and a look at your full forecast. It's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mo, and staying with the weather. We have temperatures expected to be down near zero this week. Well, TDOT tells us if you have to be out, give yourself plenty of time. Keep a safe distance from the car in front of you and be easy on the brakes. Conditions have caused dangerous roadways, power outages, disruption of emergency services, and heightened risk of vulnerable populations, including the elderly, unhoused individuals, and those without reliable heating. Below freezing temperatures can quickly become dangerous if you are without proper shelter. If you have to be out, make sure to have the essentials in case you get stranded, like blankets, food, and water.
What we are clearing is being covered back up, so we ask for patience and we ask for folks to really take heed to the caution of staying in. Motorists that do have to be out, if you see our crews out working, be sure to give them plenty of space to work.
And if you find yourself without power, we have a full list of warming shelters available to the public in West Tennessee over in the Scene on 7 section of our website at wbbjtv.com.
First responders worked to put out a morning blaze in one community around 9:50 Sunday morning. The Milan Fire Department was dispatched to a residential fire on the 1000th block of West Woodrow Street in Milan. Firefighters were able to successfully extinguish the fire. There were no injuries reported. According to officials, the most probable cause of the incident was an electrical malfunction. Due to the damage to the home, all the residents were displaced. Milan Fire Department would like to remind everyone that working smoke alarms save lives. If you need alarms in Milan, call 731-686-3996. For Gibson County, 731-723-9228.
And we have a couple of closures for you. The Madison County Courthouse will be closed today and Tuesday. Officials are encouraging everyone to stay safe and avoid unnecessary travel. The county is also expressing gratitude to the Emergency Management Agency, Sheriff's Office, Fire Departments, and Highway Department for their tireless work in these challenging conditions.
And due to the weather conditions, they have impacted the city of Jackson. The Jackson Transit Authority will be closed today, January 26th. For the safety of riders, operators, and staff, all transit services will suspend operation at that time. An update will be forthcoming about Tuesday's services depending on weather conditions. And remember, the latest closings and cancellations can be found on our website. That is wbbjtv.com.
That's not all. Madison County Health Department will be closed today and Tuesday, January 27th. This includes WIC, the Rabies Center, and all Madison County Solid Waste Convenience Centers. All Jackson Clinic locations will also be closed today, and the LeBonnier Outpatient Center here in Jackson as well. Families are encouraged to call the station if you have questions about an appointment, rather not the station, but the center. The Jackson Madison County Library will be closed today and Tuesday as well. The Gibson County Community Health Center in Trenton and the Gibson County Health Department in Humboldt will also be closed today. Gibson Electric Membership Corporation's Member Service Center will also be closed today, but don't worry, they will be available by phone. And the Haywood County Chancery Court office in Brownsville will also be closed today. We have a full list of business closures on our website at wbbjtv.com.
The 3 states of water are scattered all across our state, and here are some important reminders for you. Do not let snow and ice build up on your natural gas meter set. You can use a broom to sweep off snow and gently knock off built up ice and try to divert the water that is flowing on the meter. It is important that the regulator is able to breathe.
And clearing your car of snow and ice is more than just scraping a little hole to see. Here are some tips to do it right. Warm it up to clear the tailpipe, and don't forget to turn on the defrosters. Some tools to help include de-icer spray, microfiber towels, and a snow brush. Do not, and I repeat, do not use hot water. It can crack frozen glass. And don't forget, driving with snow and ice on your car is not just a hazard for you, but also others on the road with you. Well, over the break, I showed you a picture of someone who used hot water on their car and learned the hard way.
Not good at all.
I mean, a gaping hole in the middle of their windshield is crazy.
Yep.
Imagine how cold it is outside and now you're driving with the wind blowing at you.
You better not do that.
Please do not. But coming up later in the newscast, are you trying to increase your fiber intake? We'll tell you what's to know before you add this item to the breakfast menu.
Plus the latest on insurance premiums, why you could get some sticker shock from your monthly bill. Welcome back. The time is now 6:40. Let's start with our health watch. Before you choose a good source of fiber, listen to this. Navitas Organics is voluntarily recalling its organic chia seeds over concerns some packages may be contaminated with salmonella. The 8-ounce packages were distributed around the country and through online retailers like Amazon. Most of the packages being recalled have expiration dates of either April or May of 2027. The company says so far it has no reports of anyone getting sick. If you have the product, you should either throw it away or return it to where it was bought for a refund.
And also in our Consumer Watch, you're probably bracing for an increase in your insurance premiums. Experts say there are many factors driving the increase. Well, one top reason is that Americans have been going to the doctor more often. Experts say there has been a rise in Americans suffering from chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and obesity. Adding to that, the cost of popular weight loss medications have made pharmaceutical costs soar. And several insurers say the medications are a big reason for premium increases.
Well, do you know how much an ounce of real gold costs? Listen to this. The price of gold has crossed its biggest threshold yet. For the first time, gold prices surged past $5,000 an ounce on Sunday. However, analysts have some concerns. They say this increase comes as President Trump is overturning relations between the U.S. and allies like Europe and Canada. So far this year, the price of gold has increased by 15%.
Also in our Consumer Watch, how do you feel about the economy? Well, it looks like consumer sentiment is on the rise. A recent survey shows consumer sentiment is at 56.4%. That's an improvement from last month, which was 52.9%. According to analysts, these numbers come as inflation expectations are at their lowest. Consumer sentiment is now at its highest point since August.
Moving over to our Caught on Camera segment, check this out. Photographer Jared Ambrose took aerial photos of a neighborhood in Hendersonville, which was transformed to ice on Sunday. Much like most of Tennessee, he captured one of the more unusual scenes of ice's destructiveness with a tree that had split into 4 even sections. That region received about 0.40 inches of ice accumulation. That's well above the quarter-inch threshold to be considered an ice storm. And this is just another example of how Tennessee was affected over the last few days.
Absolutely. That is just an incredible visual of the storm, basically.
Yeah, we might be seeing, some more similar pictures over the next few days.
Especially coming out of Mississippi. Not really mentioned there, but Mississippi, they got hit hard, especially Oxford. The pictures coming from Oxford have been absolutely traumatizing. We'll take a look out the window here where we just have mainly snow and sleet here at UT Martin. We're at the Elam Center there with Wolf Construction Company to sponsor the webcam view. We're going to only be able to muster about 16 degrees at the warmest point of the afternoon. A look at your full forecast is coming up next.
Now, Storm Team weather with meteorologist Mo Shamel.
And it's a very cold start to our morning as expected. Now we're dealing with the actual Siberian air mass that's making its pass through the continental U.S. right now. And we're just on its southern fringe. And of course, it is very cold out there. We're starting off in Savannah, Tennessee. Camera a little iced over here. Got a couple icicles here. Speaking of which, icicles. Yeah, we've already heard one big chunk of ice come off our tower this morning about an hour ago. Hit the roof and sound like a big. I don't know, this is a loud bang. Of course, it startled all of us. So gravity is a thing, by the way, that's pulling that ice down towards the surface, of course. So, and I say that because you got to be careful, especially under areas where you're around towers and ice is hanging from power lines, things like that. You got to be careful for falling ice, especially now that the sun's coming up and it's going to start to warm some surfaces out there. That's going to start to help us melt some of the ice, not all of it, but it will start to process, at least for us. Let's see if our Lexington camera is going to pop up. It does. And it's a beautiful view there over Lexington right now. Just a little bit of ice on the camera there as well. But we're looking at the main strip there in Lexington there, very ice and snow covered there in Henderson County this morning. A quick look at our weather alert summary. Extreme cold warning goes through noon to tomorrow, rather. So we got another cold one coming later tonight. First time I've done that one on air. But we'll go ahead and grab the other remote here. And we will look at, there we go, our temperature trends the next 6 to 10 days. That one's going on the blooper reel. We're looking at February 1 through the 5th of February. Again, notice still blue in the eastern half of the country. We're now in this air mass, and we're stuck with it for the next several days here as we go into that first full week of February. Here's a look at your temperature trends, precipitation trends, January 31 through the 4th of February. And well, we're looking drier than normal here, and that's mainly because we're going to be dealing with more Arctic intrusions. So we're not looking at much precipitation. There is going to be precipitation. It's just not going to be here. It's going to be going kind of around us, as you'll see here as the week goes along. Here's a look at your week ahead. Average high temperature now 49 degrees. We're not going to be anywhere close to it as we go for the next several days here. But 32 degrees, we're going to be warming up to freezing. We'll get close tomorrow, but I think we'll actually be slightly above freezing at a time on Wednesday. This is all because there's actually another clipper, which is going to become the mega nor'easter you're going to be hearing about this week. That's going to be hitting the East Coast again. Again, it's going to move just to our south, miss us completely, and then go right up the East Coast as a nor'easter. And that's the next big winter storm. It's going to be a complete swing and miss for West Tennessee. And hallelujah, we are okay with that. Here's a look at those temperatures across the country right now. -3 in Kansas City, -12 in Sioux City, Iowa, -13 in Minneapolis. So again, it's a glancing blow. This is going to continue to move to the east, and it's going to be close enough that we need to be on alert for some of the colder temperatures for West Tennessee right now. We're at 6 degrees above zero in Dyersburg, 6 in Ridgely, 8 degrees in Union City, 9 in Trenton. We're at 11 here in Jackson, but of course you add the wind component. It feels like -7 in Union City, and these numbers have been dropping over the last hour because now the wind is starting to move. Now the sun is, we're starting to turn towards the sun, rather. And of course, you heat the atmosphere, you start to pick up the eddies, it gets going, and that's pushing the wind, and that's what's driving our wind chills down into the almost teens out there across West Tennessee. So the key point is layers are going to be your best friend, but no additional precipitation is expected. This clipper will be diving southeastward. It's going to make that pass through the area, and then it will become the nor'easter that will go up the East Coast as we go through the weekend, but it will be a complete miss for West Tennessee. Usually when nor'easters are going through, that's the case. So, but it is going to be very cold and dry, and it's going to reinforce this cold Arctic air mass as we get towards the weekend. That's why you see those temperatures come right back down after Wednesday, after a little bit of a bump or warm up, if you would, into the midweek period. Here's a look at the rest of the forecast here. Again, we're going to look at futurecast to show you how it plays out. Here again, temperatures pushing through about 10 o'clock will be around 10 to 12 degrees at 10 o'clock this late morning. By this afternoon, around 2 o'clock, this is warm. I don't think we're going to make it here. We're probably going to be more like that for all of West Tennessee, about 15, 16 degrees. And even that at that point, we're still going to be easily in the single digits, possibly single negative digits on the wind chill, because the wind's not going to just relax because it's the afternoon there. Otherwise, tonight we will be dropping to the single digits. I don't think there's going to be as much wind tonight as there is as we're dealing with this morning, rather. So the actual temperature still dropping to about 6 to 8 degrees at the coolest point of the overnight and the start of the day on Tuesday. Here come the clouds. Again, the Clipper will be making its closest approach between Tuesday and Wednesday. It'll help to warm temperatures into the mid to upper 20s. Boy, that's balmy. We're ready for the shorts and t-shirt there at 24 degrees there. And again, we'll be at the warmest point of the afternoon around about 32 degrees or so, especially on Wednesday. As we take a look at the rest of your forecast, we'll be looking at high temperatures that'll be basically well below normal as we go through the rest of the week. We'll be at our warmest probably on Wednesday before another Arctic air mass gets reinforced as we go towards the weekend, but it will be dry. This 7-day forecast is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Coming up, we take you to the scene of a collision, but one party wasn't a person.
And later, concerns about the dangers of AI. We'll tell you what one religious leader has to say.
Well, welcome back, everyone. The time is now 6:54 and some tech news. Take a look at this. In California, an ambulance with a patient on board crashed into a food delivery robot. This happened on Friday, and as you can see, the four-wheeled red robotic cart on the sidewalk. According to reports, a second ambulance arrived at the scene to transport the patient. There were no reported injuries, but delivery robots have caused some controversy over the last few years.
Beware of the AI chatbot that becomes more than a friend or worse, an emotional crutch. That's part of a recent warning from Pope Leo. Ahead of the World Day of Social Communications, Pope Leo warned about overtly affectionate chatbots. He also said AI risked diluting human creativity and decision making. He's urging some type of regulation to prevent us humans from forming serious emotional bonds with AI.
And video game news now from Hollywood. It includes a new Final Fantasy adventure for Nintendo's new game console.
That's right. Rick Damagello reports.
What you heard just now were the voices of the planet. Those born into this world, who lived and who died, who returned, are howling in pain.
Final Fantasy lands on Nintendo's Switch 2 with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. The first part of the expanded and reimagined telling of the Final Fantasy VII story is out now. Hytale is a game that almost wasn't. The Sandbox game's development was canceled last year by Riot Games, which later sold the title back to its original co-founder. The PC game is available now in early access from the Hightail website. Originally released in 2022, Cult of the Lamb is getting a new expansion. Woolhaven adds new content to the roguelike game and is out now for PC, Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox consoles. Leveling Up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And we've got another look at your forecast that's coming up in just a few minutes. That's the final look at your forecast.
Well, we have one final story for you this morning. Take a look at this. Over in Washington, the snow and bitter cold did not stop the fun. You can see a group of people gathering together for a classic snowball fight. This took place at the Washington Monument on Sunday. You might as well do something fun in this January winter wonderland. I'm glad somebody got out and had a chance to have fun
It was
Sunday.
nice that they were able to have, snow that you can make a snowball with.
Yeah, 'cause
Right?
we did not have that.
I mean, we did for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got up early enough, well, Saturday it was that kind of snow, and this sleet came in and ruined it. And then,
Yeah,
of
but
course, the freezing
Sunday
rain has
was
been-
not that day.
Don't throw chunks of ice at each other, y'all.
No.
That ain't gonna end well. Please don't.
No, it gets somebody hurt.
For real.
Well, you want to give us a final look at the
Extreme
forecast?
cold warning will continue through noon tomorrow. We start to come out of this kind of through midweek. We will get above freezing for one day, and then another Arctic air mass is reinforcing and coming in here by the end of the week, and that's going to sort of reinforce what we've already got going on. It won't be quite as cold, but still cold as we go towards the weekend. More importantly, no additional precipitation, at least not accumulating as we go through the whole week.
Appreciate it, Mo, and we hope you have a wonderful start to this week. It feels like it's just all sort of joined
Blending
into one.
together,
It's just going to be one 10-day week. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great day.
Happy Monday, West Tennessee. Golden Circle Auto Group, the sponsor for the forecast for today. It's going to be a cold one, brutally cold at times. High temperature day, we're only going to be able to muster about 16. Winds are going to be out of the northwest all day, though, so it's going to barely feel like we're above zero most of the day. Tonight we'll be dropping down to 5 at the coolest point of the overnight. Not as much wind, but it's still going to be brutally cold. High temperature will be back in the mid to upper 20s. Happy Monday, West Tennessee. Golden Circle Auto Group, the sponsor for today's forecast. We're looking at a high around 16 at the warmest point of the afternoon. Winds are going to be present, so the feel like temperature is going to be around 0 all day today. Tonight we drop to 5 and a slightly warmer, a lot warmer day with a high around 29.
Good morning, West Tennessee. I'm Nyana Whitelaw. First responders worked to put out a morning blaze in one community. Around 9:50 Sunday morning, the Milan Fire Department was dispatched to a residential fire on the 1000 block of West Woodrow Street. Firefighters successfully extinguished the fire. No injuries were reported. According to officials, the most probable cause of the fire was an electrical malfunction. Due to the damage to the home, all the residents were displaced. And the past weekend was definitely icy for many, and it isn't going away anytime soon. This week comes with some single-digit temperatures. Many children in West Tennessee embrace the cold with a snowball fight, making snow angels, or like the popular song in Frozen, building a snowman. TDOT says if you have to be out, give yourself plenty of time. Watch how close you are to the vehicle beside you and be easy on the brakes. And we have the latest on a warming shelter for you. The TR White Sportsplex is hosting an emergency shelter for homeless men and any men in need of assistance. Thanks to churches and restaurants, foods, blankets, and hygiene kits are available. They plan on running the center through Wednesday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. They also have a place for women and children at First United Methodist Church. Now it's time to send it over to meteorologist Moshe Mel for a look at the forecast.
Thank you, Diana. And good morning, West Tennessee. An extreme cold warning continues for all of today through noon tomorrow. And it's for good reason. Look at that temperature at 8:45 this morning. We're at 8 degrees with a feel-like temperature or wind chill of -6. Unfortunately, it's not going to get much better today. Here we are at 11 o'clock with 11 -2. Even about 1, and we'll stop about 2, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to be 16. A feel-like temperature only a 5 above, so it's going to be brutally cold. So if you got to be out and about, you're going to want the layers, as the wind's also going to be a thing between 5 and 10 miles an hour, generally out of the northwest. So a very, very cold day underway. Tonight, we'll still drop back to the single digits again. Won't be as much wind, but still, there's going to be enough. They'll feel like temperatures are easily going to be dropping into the negatives past about 9 or 10 o'clock later on tonight and getting close to that -10 degree threshold, which again is why the extreme cold warning is in effect. Here's a look at the rest of the forecast. We're going to get a little bit of a bump towards midweek period with the clipper that'll be passing by along with a few clouds. There might be a few flurries with some of that, but I don't expect any accumulating precipitation for any part of West Tennessee. But again, a mention of flurries is there between Wednesday and Thursday. Other than that, behind that will be another reinforcing Arctic but very dry air mass as the forecast remains completely rain-free.
Good morning, West Tennessee. I'm Nayana Whitelaw. We have temperatures expected to be down near 0 this week. TDOT tells us if you have to be out, give yourself plenty of time, keep a safe distance from the car in front of you, and be easy on the brakes. Conditions have caused dangerous roadways, power outages, disruption of emergency services, and heightened risk to vulnerable populations, including the elderly, unhoused individuals, and those without reliable heating. Below freezing temperatures can quickly become dangerous if you are without proper shelter. If you have to be out, make sure to have the essentials in case you get stranded, like blankets, food, and water. And clearing your car of snow and ice is more than just scraping a little hole to see. Here are some tips to do it right. Warm it up to clear the tailpipe, and do not forget to turn on the defrosters. Some tools to help include de-icer spray, microfiber towels, and a snow brush. And do not use hot water because it can crack frozen glass. And don't forget, driving with snow and ice on your car is not just a hazard for you, but also others on the road with you. And with below freezing temperatures, it can become dangerous quickly if you are without proper shelter. The TR White Sportsplex is hosting an emergency shelter for homeless men and any man in need of assistance. There has been about 20 gentlemen so far, and they have been able to provide them with food, blankets, and hygiene kits from various churches and restaurants. They plan on running this through Wednesday morning. Doors will be open daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. They also have a place for women and children at First United Methodist Church. And we have a full list of the warming shelters available on our website, wbbjtv.com. And first responders work to put out a morning blaze in one community. Around 9:50 Sunday morning, the Milan Fire Department was dispatched to a residential fire on the 1000 block of West Woodrow Street in Milan. Firefighters were able to successfully extinguish the fire. There were no injuries reported. According to officials, the most probable cause of the fire was an electrical malfunction. Due to the damage to the home, all the residents were displaced. The Milan Fire Department would like to remind everyone that working smoke alarms save lives. Well, now it's time to send it over to meteorologist Moshe Mel for a look at the forecast.
Thank you, Nayana, and good morning, West Tennessee. We're starting today under mainly sunny skies. We did have some clouds this morning that actually kept the temperature from falling too far, but we're still in the single digits to start us off. In fact, as the temperature climbs through about 11 o'clock today, we're going to be only 11 degrees, -2 on the wind chill. It's still going to have a wind chill factor because of that northwest wind off that Arctic high that'll be just off to our west. But we'll around 3 o'clock or so this afternoon, that's your high temperature, 16. It's still only going to feel like 5 above because of the wind. The winds will relax a little bit tonight, although I think the air temperature still will be falling pretty far later on tonight. We'll keep a light breeze between we'll say about 2 and 6 miles an hour, and that's going to keep our temperatures and certainly the wind chills generally in the negatives and probably around -5 to almost -10, and that puts us at extreme cold warning criteria, which is why it was issued. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. We're going to be between systems in the midpoint of the week, so we're going to see a little bit of a bump in temperatures towards freezing towards the middle of the week. But notice how cold it gets for the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday particularly. We have a clipper that's going to be missing us the clipper goes through here, but the precipitation all stay well to our south along the Gulf Coast, and then it will become a mega nor'easter along the East Coast as we go through the weekend. But for us, it's going to be just cold and ridiculously dry and cold.
We have temperatures expected to be down near 0 this week. CDOT tells us if you have to be out, give yourself plenty of time. Keep a safe distance from the car in front of you and be easy on the brakes. Conditions have caused dangerous roadways, power outages, disruption of emergency services, and heightened risk to vulnerable populations. Make sure to have the essentials in case you get stranded, like blankets, food, and water. And due to the weather conditions that have impacted the city of Jackson, the Jackson Transit Authority will be closed today, January 26th. For the safety of riders, operators, and staff, all transit services will be suspended for a period of time. An update will be forthcoming about Tuesday services depending on weather conditions. And remember, the latest closing and cancellations can be found on our website, wbbjtv.com. Well, coming up on midday, meteorologist Moshe Mel will have a look at the forecast, plus your latest entertainment news. Here's what's coming up Tuesday on Good Morning West Tennessee. Too good to be true. We have tips to help you spot a scam.
An extreme cold warning continues for all of West Tennessee. That's going to go through Tuesday at noon. We'll have the latest details in the rest of the week's forecast that's coming up on Good Morning West Tennessee.
Plus the latest entertainment news. We will have that and more coming up Tuesday on Good Morning West Tennessee.
And it is a frigid start to our day area-wide across West Tennessee. An extreme cold warning remains in effect. Will be staying in effect through noon tomorrow for good reason. Here's how the day plays out here. Through about 10 o'clock, 10:30 today, we'll be looking at a temperature of 10. It's still going to feel like -4. As we get to lunch, just past lunch, we'll be about 1 o'clock. We're looking at 15 with a feel like temperature of 3 above. And then at the warmest point of the day, 3 o'clock, it's going to be 16. It's going to feel like 5. So you're going to need the layers all day. So there's a reason we're in that extreme cold warning. This is ridiculously cold. And with the sun out, it'll start the melting process on some of the ice. But again, it's not going to fix all of our problems. Good morning, West Tennessee. A cold, frigid start to our day. Extreme cold warning continues for all of West Tennessee. Temps not going to be on the move today, at least not very fast. Through about lunch today, we'll be around about 14 on the thermometer, although the wind chill will keep us feeling like we're barely above zero all afternoon. So be ready for that. We'll have another look at your full forecast. It's coming up on midday.
Good morning, West Tennessee. I'm Nayana Whitelaw. We have the latest on a warming shelter for you. The TR White Sportsplex is hosting an emergency shelter for homeless men and any man in need of assistance. Thanks to churches and restaurants, food, blankets, and hygienic kits are available. They plan on running the center through Wednesday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. They also have a place for women and children at First United Methodist Church. And the Madison County Courthouse will be closed today and Tuesday. Officials are encouraging everyone to stay safe and avoid unnecessary travel. The county is also expressing gratitude to the Emergency Management Agency, Sheriff's Department, Fire Departments, and Highway Department for their tireless work in these challenging conditions. Coming up after this short break, meteorologist Moshe Mel will take a look at the forecast.
Good morning, West Tennessee. It is a frigid start to our morning. We've got temps in the single digits. Not going to get much better than that today. Here we are at 10 o'clock. We'll be around 10 o'clock. We'll be around 10 degrees with a feel-like temperature of -4. And then as we get to about lunchtime today, about 15. And our high temperature, look for it, wait for it here. Yeah, 16 degrees. That's your high temperature for the day. Feel like temperature only 5 above. And the winds are going to be out of the northwest around 8 miles an hour. Layers are going to be your best friend as a result of that, of course. Tonight, we're going to be doing this again. Not as much wind, but we're still going to be brutally cold with temperatures falling back into the single digits and possibly down to 0 at the coolest point of the overnight and the start of the day on Tuesday. The extreme cold warning will continue through noon tomorrow.
Good morning, West Tennessee. I'm Nyana Whitelaw. We have the latest on a warming shelter for you. The TR White Sportsplex is hosting an emergency shelter for a homeless man and any man in need of assistance. Thanks to churches and restaurants, food, blankets, and hygiene kits are available. They plan on running the center through Wednesday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. They also have a place for women and children at First United Methodist Church. And the Madison County Courthouse will be closed today and Tuesday. Officials are encouraging everyone to stay safe and avoid unnecessary travel. The county is also expressing gratitude to the Emergency Management Agency, Sheriff's Office, Fire Departments, and Highway Department for their tireless work in these challenging conditions. And now it's time to send it over to meteorologist Moshe Mel for a look at the forecast.
Thank you, Nyana, and good morning, West Tennessee. It is a brutally cold start to our day. We've got temps starting off in the single digits, and guess what? They're going to struggle to get out of those single digits. Here we are by 10 o'clock, just before the lunch hour. In fact, it will stop around lunchtime. Yeah, only about 15. It's going to still feel like we're about 3 degrees thanks to the wind. It's going to be out of the northwest still between 5 and 10 miles an hour. At the woman's point of the afternoon, we're going to only go and be able to muster about 16 with a feel like temperature only of 5 above, i.e. take the layers. You're going to need it, absolutely, as we continue to deal with its Arctic air mass. Tonight, we'll fall back towards the single digits fairly quickly. Probably by 8 o'clock, we're already going to be back in the single digits. We'll feel like temperatures approaching the negatives as we go through the overnight and the start of your day on Tuesday. Tuesday itself will still remain under an extreme cold warning. We'll get a little bit of a bump in the temperature towards midweek. This is only because we have a clipper passing by. Behind that clipper, it is going to usher in another batch of Arctic air that is going to drive our high temperatures back down into the upper teens by Saturday.